Well, welcome to the Forum for the Future of Agriculture to Lesley Rankin. We're here in Brussels today to talk about the big challenges that face our planet, none bigger than what you've just discussed on stage this morning with climate change and are we doing enough? Lesley, you're a researcher with the IPPR, the Institute for Public Policy Research, and you've had a very interesting panel discussion just now. Give us a flavour of what was discussed, because it was quite a spiky debate in the auditorium just now.
Yeah, so there were points of agreement and points of divergence. I think everyone is on board with the idea that we need to do something quite drastic and quite quickly, which is 100% the position that I'm taking. I think the difference seemed to be on exactly what to do and how to do it. And the panelists who know more about specific EU policy than I do were toughing that out. But I think healthy debate is the way that we're going to find the solution through this. So. Well,
the how, is actually an important theme today, because we are talking about the next generation. We see many youth who are activists now, who tell us there is no planet B. But I think a lot of people would agree, including those who were sharing the platform with you, that something needs to be done, but how it's done, quite what, there is huge divergence. Pessimistic or optimistic as a result of the kind of noises that you heard in there, because there was a lot of debate about carbon emissions and maybe having an environmental tax like a VAT on carbon, for example, and it provided some quite heated points for discussion.
Well, I'm optimistic sometimes and pessimistic at other times. It depends on what I've heard most recently. The challenges that we face are overwhelming, and I try to be actively hopeful. So, I think what we have to remember is that the human element in all of this. So you can talk about technocratic solutions, but as we were saying in the panel, we have to take farmers with us, we have to take consumers with us, so that people understand the reasons for these drastic changes. It was Frantz Fanon who said everything can be explained to the public on the single condition that you want them to understand. And I think there are vested interests in the system now who are blocking change or trying to reverse change. And it's up to those of us who are well-meaning and who see the need for a radical socioeconomic transformation to make that case so that people get it.
And you made the case also on an angle of social justice, if you like, that those that are vulnerable and the very least responsible for carbon emissions are actually the ones that are the most affected by it. Do you think that message landed with some of the EU diplomats and politicians on stage today?
It's difficult to say. No one particularly picked up the point in their responses. There was more debate around the EU level solutions, but I think it's something that the EU should be showing leadership around as a group of wealthy nations who are disproportionately responsible for the problems that we're facing, and we can't limit our response to EU borders. We have to look beyond, because at the end of the day, it's richer nations that have the most past responsibility and the most present capability to respond.
So are you more inspired by the thought of a next generation, which is the theme for the conference today, inspired by the voice of youth that's coming through, as opposed to perhaps the old guard?
I am very inspired by the moral leadership that the younger generation, younger than me, is showing. But we can't wait for them. We should be embarrassed that it's taken school children for us to wake up and have this debate publicly in political mainstream discourse. So the old guard also needs to wake up and do something now to limit the damage that the younger generations will inherit, and also to equip them to face the damage that is now inevitable, because some of it is.
Thank you very much for talking to us, Lesley. Enjoy the rest of the forum. Thank you.